of color in that tooth. So with an A1 dentin shade, we can compensate the color in combination with our veneer down to an A2, for example. On the neighboring tooth, we placed also a veneer, but this veneer we only placed with enamel, the same enamel material or color like the veneers and occlusions are made of. Okay, then we are doing the etching procedure, as usual. We are using bonding on the tooth. But of course, now we are already meeting dentin, and therefore we need something flexible on top. And this is, of course, our veneer. So the beauty is, after selecting the right size, we can shape them. Yeah? So you can follow the margins of your veneer according to your gingival line or the preparation you have created. It's a very simple process, and actually, instead of having a machine milling out of a block a restoration, you have already the restoration and you just shape it to the individual case you have. It's easy. And of course, you are much better than any CEREC machine because you are multi-angulated. Yeah? You see things which a machine cannot see, especially when it comes to aesthetics. So then, in the next step, we are using our bonding system. So now this bonding system is hydrophobic resin combined with silane. Remember, this is inorganic, so there is no more free radicals. If there is no more free radicals, we have to create an inhibition layer. The beauty is that strontium and barium glass, they work very well with silane, yeah? Compared to ceramic, where silane needs to be burned on heavily to really create a chemical reaction. So mainly in ceramics, we live from mechanical retention. Okay, the beauty also of this bonding is it is transparent. So it doesn't affect the shade of your restoration because bondings are very yellowish. Yeah? So this is transparent. And of course, this bonding can be used on all these surfaces, like ceramic, like metal, like acrylic. You will see me also restoring crowns with this material. And so I can create adhesion also to such surfaces. So after placing the bonding, instead of placing my luting cement, I place my dentin shade A1, highly filled, 83%. Of course, low shrinkage, only 2% versus flow or luting cement, 7-8% of shrinkage. Only, let's say, 40-50% of filler. Too much organic resin in the end. So here I use a high fill. So I fill my veneer with the restorative material, and now we sit 12 o'clock behind the patient. The most important thing is that we have a proper view on the angulation of our anterior teeth. Okay? So now I seat my veneer, but there is no cement floating around, yeah? Because this is not liquid. It's solid. You can place it, you can seat it, and once I have established the right position, I only spot cure through the incised edge for 2 seconds, only tacking the veneer on. So now the position is fixed and I have all the time to clean around my margins along the gingival line with my spatula, clean everything, and then I can bend the mylar strip over from both sides and light cure again. So now, well, I'm left over with the design of my restoration. Either I do it more squarish, more roundish, more masculine or feminine. Just the corners I can shape now with my diamond instrument, as you can see. And of course, I can then just finish, polishing is not really necessary because those veneers, they shine already. But of course, if I would like to do characterization, I can, take my finishing diamonds, do that and repolish. Because here we scratch glass and we repolish glass. And that's a difference because, when you have composite, when you grind with your diamond, then of course you have resin glass, and with your diamond you always crack out slight little glass particles, and therefore you have micro retentions, and therefore you have discoloration. Ceramic, if you remove the glaze burn with your diamond, then your restoration absorbs water, and the mechanics of the ceramics are interrupted, of course. So here we are free because glass is melted, yeah? It doesn't have, let's say, a glaze burn on top. Therefore you can scratch it and repolish to the same level. So now we get to this final result in a very simple manner. Yeah? Before and once again after. Smooth surface, nice blending in characteristics of both restorations. Let's look at this case. In this case, there is old composite restorations on the centrals. So we remove the restorative material, the old one. I have placed 00 Ultrapack quartz, so fine quartz only, just to isolate. I'm not placing quartz all the time, but in this case I did. What we see here is a good color. The tooth still offers a good shape. Yeah? I want to blend in to the neighboring teeth. And, of course, I want to bring back the incisal length of my two centrals to where it was initially. So, if I want to go for the highest blending in property, I'm not using dentin under my veneers, I'm using enamel under my veneers. Because enamel is very translucent. Yeah? Enamel is like ice cubes. You put them into Coca-Cola, ice cubes take the Coca-Cola color. You put them into orange juice, they go orange. Yeah? It's like a window for the color which is coming from inside. So then we have seen I use my veneer and I adjust the cervical side. You know, I change it to more maybe oval or more, let's say, triangular with my diamond burr. Very easy. Then I can also grind inside the veneer. Yeah? I make more space so I can overlap a tooth easier, which is maybe a little bit bigger, without even touching the tooth at that stage. I can either make it slimmer from the outside, or I can widen it from the inside, mesial and distal sides. And we make margins sharp like a knife. So we do not create a positive step. Yeah? So we do not need a step preparation as we know from ceramics. We can have margins on zero. Yeah? So we change, as I said, from a medium squarish to a more oval medium veneer. It's the same veneer, it's just a little bit of shaping. When we raise the question how thin can we create them, we can create them 0.26 millimeters or 0.2, very thin. Initially they are 0.6. Of course this is not always needed, just to give you an idea how thin can we do them without fearing breakage. So this is the step where we see the veneers adjusted along the gingival lines. Here they look very white and milky, yeah? But as soon as I have placed my bonding, as I have placed my enamel material inside, they absorb the color, yeah? And so with this step, this is my final result, getting back to the same length which these incisals had, and I don't have to fear that this is chipping, because it's behaving like a natural tooth. It's abrading, not breaking. Yeah? That's very important. And it blends into the neighboring teeth. Let's look at young people. Let's go step by step. And young people, we know, of course, we need flexible things to restore their teeth. Now this boy, his name is Elias. And Elias is out of a family with 5 kids. Dentistry is private in Austria, and so of course for families it's not easy to serve all their children in their needs in regards of dentistry. So when Elias arrived with his parents to my clinic, he was a very shy guy, yeah? Because the children in school, they made jokes about him. Not because of his earrings, because of the appearance of his long canines. Okay. Okay, so slowly. Okay, slow. I try. Okay, so we decided to do 2 veneers. And we decided to do extensions on his incisal edge. So only edging, only bonding, and 2 veneers placed. As you see, we mimicked the surface contour of the centrals. So we contoured these veneers from the outside and repolished. It's invisible, yeah, without damaging anything of his teeth. And of course, this is relaxing his smile and made a happy guy out of him. Look at this girl. She has peg laterals and peg canines. So we are only etching, we are only bonding, and we are placing 2 veneers on the laterals and 2 veneers on the canines. In this case, we do not work on the surface. We just left it like it was. And again, this gives her a nice smile. We can do these diastema cases also, 14-year-old boy, before, and here is the after, very natural. Underneath, still everything as it is before. So we are not harming the natural tooth. Many times it's only one single veneer. For example, here in this case, when you look at her case, you will see that she has still her first canine. No second canine available. So only one veneer was placed together with dentin. So I see, I do not use composite and layer and finish and polish. I use a shelf because the quality of my restoration, which I achieve with the Edelweiss veneer, is something I cannot achieve by hand, inside the mouth. It's impossible. And of course, I want to give the patient the best option. And so I can do a single one also. Let's look at this lady. She was coming to my clinic 6 years ago. And actually she was divorced. She has 3 children. And she said to me, "Doctor, listen, with my smile, I cannot find a new husband. Can you do something for me? But my budget is very low, Actually, she was already with the endodontist, and what we did now was taking an impression from the palatinate side. Then I removed the tooth structure, which was not good anymore. I placed a first enamel wall into my silicone key. I placed my post, and I restored the front with my restorative direct Edelweiss material. So now we have a nice color. But of course, now we want to have a nice anatomy. We want to have translucency. And this is what I achieve with my veneers. And I also use only my enamel material to cement the veneers. Because if I place my veneers with the enamel, it gives me a translucency, it gives me deepness, and looks very natural. So now, important, the protocol to have a successful treatment. We have seen, we take diamonds to adjust the shape of the veneer. Of course, we can do this also on the study model, because the study model gives us the shape, the size, everything, so we can prepare things already before the patient arrives. Then I fill my veneer with my composite. I hold my veneer on my spatula and I insert it into the clinical environment. Then I put my fingertip on top of the veneer and I take the spatula out, a little bit above the gingival line. Then I'm seating the veneer in position. I'm only focusing on the angulation. When I have the right angulation, I spot cure through the incised edge. Then I can clean up because the material on the side is still soft. Then I take my mylar strip and bend over, both sides, mesial and distal areas. You see, spot curing and bending the mylar strip over. Here from the center, you see it very well. We have a smooth line, a smooth transition, and then we go for full polymerization. So now the whole tooth is made from a restorative material faced with the veneer. And here we see the final result. Also, as I said, 6 years down the road. Let's go into more complex cases. Cases where we have to focus mainly on function. So when we look at this case, her name is Christina. And Christina is suffering also from the fact that she has no second canines available. So there is no canine guidance. So all the forces in her side shifts move over the centrals and laterals. This is why she has these heavy abrasions. This is why she rotated her teeth. So again, when we look at the case, we see that the teeth are also too much inclined. They need to come outside, where the lips are looking for those teeth. So we can look at this from all angles. So, many options. Orthodontics, implant, but not for her budget. And she's very young. Also implants are not forever. So we need to have a minimally invasive situation for her, a biofunctional approach for her. Okay, so of course, when we have such a patient, communication is very important. And of course, they want to see how they look like even before we touch their teeth. Yeah? And the system offers a very nice solution because I can select the size of her veneers. I put a little bit composite inside and I just do a direct mock-up without curing, just placing them so that she can have a personal look on her teeth. Later on we have a workshop. Maybe I will also illustrate on one participant how this looks. In her case, this was it. So this is not finished. It's only my mock-up. But I use my veneers for the mock-up, which of course simplifies the whole procedure of a mock-up. So she can look at herself and say, okay, this is my... Okay, energy. Okay, so now I can remove those veneers and I can clean them with my alcohol wipe and then I use it for her. If she don't like it, well, so far it never happened to me that the patient refused. I can clean them, put them into the autoclave and use them for the next patient. All the veneers, all the occlusions are autoclaved when they leave our place, and you can always autoclave them yourself. Okay, only surface roughening with a yellow diamond. Etching. Bonding. Now, I build up the abrasion parts first. So I take my restorative Edelweiss direct material, build up the abraded corners. If I have a gap or a diastema, I use my mylar strip. I place Edelweiss direct material there, and of course I light cure. And with this, I create the perfect frame for my veneer. Yeah? So I can insert it perfectly without, focusing on any gaps which I have to overcome. Then, this is the starting point to create my veneers on top. So, again, same protocol. Veneer was adjusted, veneer was filled with my enamel material, I insert it, I seat it, I spot cure, I clean, and I go further, tooth by tooth. Then I finish with my diamonds and of course with my polishers. So let's look at the occlusal final situation. So now, of course, we have a sharp incisal edge. But due to the fact that we move with the veneers forward, we have kind of a ridge, yeah, towards the front. The canines are supported with glass fibers from premolar to lateral on both sides. Yeah? So the premolar and the lateral, they hold the canine in place with the fibers. So now we can create canine guidance. So the forces will no longer move over the centrals and laterals. From the side, the teeth were inclined before. Now they're in the right position. Underneath, everything is still like it was when she arrived to our clinic. From the front view, this is sunlight. Let's look at regular daylight. This is the final result. Nobody would think that there is a veneer or a crown or anything on top. Yeah? So this is also now 4 years in her mouth. It works fantastic. Just imagine, within 2.5 hours, we could create this in one situation, so in one appointment, to this aesthetic level. Of course, Christina is very happy about her solution. Yeah? Let's look at diastema cases. This lady, she is in the Tupperware business. So she goes out in the evenings and she sells those kitchen pots. Not a lot of income, but always presenting. She was suffering a lot from her smile. When we look closer, then we see that there is no laterals available, yeah? Only canines. So her biggest wish was to have white teeth, to have no more gaps in her front teeth. And so we decided to place, of course, bigger veneers on top of her centrals to overcome the diastemas. We decided to change the canines into laterals, and we decided to place canines on the premolars. So here you have the occlusal view. This is the before and the after. So, of course, if you don't feel comfortable to do this directly like I do it, you can do it on your study model. You don't need a preparation. You only isolate the model with isolation for gypsum or Vaseline or anything like this. You also adjust the veneers. You bond the veneers. You place your restorative material underneath and you place them. You clean up, you cure on the model. And then you can take it off. So the composite which you placed underneath is like an impression from your tooth. So you can shape the margins, then you roughen them slightly inside, and then you edge, bond, and place the veneers. Indirect, yeah? Many of my colleagues work together with technicians. They just take the study model, send it, put the veneers and the color with it, and they get it back same day, because it goes very quick, yeah? Here we see the result. Of course, it's a little bit more dominant, but somehow we have to fill those spaces. But when the lips are hiding those actors, you know, everything is much more relaxed. So here we have a final smile. Underneath, the teeth are still like they are. We didn't prep them. This is a very special case, very special case. Probably not the case to start with, but it also illustrates what we are able to do. This young lady, she went abroad to get orthodontics done. After 3 years, 3.5 years, all her teeth were straight. Then the retainer was placed, but the retainer broke. And within 6-7 months, everything moved back. We know the teeth, they don't like to stay where we move them. They want to go back in their position. So when she came, because someone told her, oh, go to this smile center, they can do magic dentistry. So she came and talked to her, and I advised her to go back to the orthodontist, because it won't take so long anymore. Probably 8 months she can, get them straightened again. But she refused, because she said, look, the consequence is, sooner or later, they will move back, and please give me a solution. Okay, so I decided to do it. And when I do such cases, then of course, I have to check, how do I arrange my case? Because the idea is not to remove anything, but to bring the teeth in the right position. Yeah? Here you have the before and the after. Of course, things got bigger, but it's not disturbing her. It feels maybe 1 or 2 nights special, but her lips are perfectly supported now. From the palatable feeling for the tongue, it's the same. The teeth are still remaining the same. So from the front, this is before, this is after. So you see, all this is possible. And it's like with everything we are doing. When we do it properly, we improve, we get better. We improve, we get better, And that's exactly the success we experience by doing things directly with the patient. Let's look from the side. This is after. Only minimal prep on the central. Otherwise, we could build around those teeth, yeah? Fill up the spaces, as you have seen from the occlusion view. Other side. Again. See, the aim is, of course, keep substance, be minimally invasive, and to create something which mimics the natural tooth, which does not damage the antagonist because of being too hard. Yeah? This is a colleague from Morocco, also a dentist. Maybe too much curry, I don't know. Anyways, he was in my course. And after a live treatment, he asked me, can you do my teeth quickly before we go to lunch? Because it's only 2 hours in between those 2 pictures. So in this case, I face the teeth first with a thin layer of dentin A1. This is like a permanent bleaching, because the teeth are then, from the color, much lighter. In addition, I use my veneers and I fill them with enamel and place them. If I do so, I get a lot of translucency, like you see here. One more time, and also from the side view. So, again, underneath is his teeth, without any preparation. Lower cases, very natural. An elder guy, you see a lot of abrasion. I would be very afraid to do ceramic veneers in his case. But with my system, I can solve his aesthetic problems. So it blends in, you don't find the restorations. In all the cases you have seen, I always use the same shape, the same anatomy of veneer. But as I can change the configuration, as I can work on the outside, I can individualize them in all directions without losing mechanical strength, and without risking discoloration. Here we have another case. This gentleman was sent to me by his wife. She was also my patient, still is my patient. She told me, Doc, I'm married since 30 years and I'm really in love with my husband, but his teeth start to disturb me. But my husband, he has no problem with his teeth. He feels totally comfortable. He feels like, not even any problem. Only, well, they don't look so nice, but it's not a problem for him. At the same time, he's still proud about this work, because his cousin used to be a dentist, and he did this for him many years ago. Yeah. So his wife asked me, well, maybe you can do like with me, only in one appointment. Then I can get my husband to your clinic. And I say, yes, of course, I will look at your husband. And she said, well, you know, my husband is just picking me up now. He's downstairs. Can you look now? I say, okay, send him up. And this is what